Germany, 1992. A man sits in a studio painting what appears to be a lost masterpiece. The canvas is old, sourced from a flea market, and prepared using materials authentic to the early 20th century. The pigments are period correct. The brushes match those used by painters decades earlier. But he is not creating his own work. He is painting a new piece by German expressionist Heinrich Campendonck, a painting that never existed. The artist holding the brush is Wolfgang Beltracchi. Over the next 2 decades, paintings like this will be authenticated by leading experts, sold through major auction houses including Christie's and Sotheby's, and purchased by collectors around the world. False photographs, forged documents, gallery labels, and fabricated ownership histories will support every sale. By the time the scheme ends, Beltracchi will have fooled hundreds of experts and generated more than $100 million in sales. And for nearly 40 years, nobody suspects a thing. The education of a forger. Wolfgang Fischer was born in Germany in 1951. His father was a church restorer, which meant young Wolfgang grew up learning how paintings were actually made. He saw canvases taken apart and repaired. He learned about pigments, underpaintings, aging patterns, and the chemistry of art. While most artists learn how to paint, Wolfgang learned how paintings live and age. By age 15, he was already copying old masters. At first, it was a challenge rather than a business, but the exercise taught him something critical. He could think like other artists. Instead of copying finished paintings, he learned to reconstruct the decisions that created them. As a young man traveling through Europe, he encountered dealers, collectors, and galleries. It was there that he noticed a weakness in the art market, one that would eventually make him famous. The system he discovered: the art world relies heavily on provenance. Provenance is the documented history of a painting, who owned it, where it traveled, and how it reached the present day. A clear ownership chain makes authentication easier. But there was a problem. The chaos of World War II created countless gaps in European art records. Collections were looted, hidden, sold, or destroyed. Missing decades in a painting's history were often considered normal. Experts focused primarily on determining whether a painting looked authentic. Beltracchi realized something important. The system was designed to catch copies. It was not designed to catch entirely new paintings that had never existed before. If someone could create a convincing artwork and a convincing history at the same time, the system had little defense against it. The method: by the 1980s, Wolfgang and his wife Helene Beltracchi had built an incredibly sophisticated operation. First came the canvas. Wolfgang bought old canvases from antique markets and estate sales. He removed the original paintings and reused the aged materials. Next came the paint. He researched historical pigments and carefully used only materials available during the period he was imitating. Then came technique. For months at a time, he studied artists such as Heinrich Campendonck, Max Ernst, Fernand Léger, André Derain, Georges Braque, and others. He didn't copy existing works. Instead, he created entirely new paintings that looked as though they could have been lost pieces from those artists' careers. This was a crucial advantage. A direct copy invites suspicion. A newly discovered masterpiece creates excitement. Finally came the most important element: the story. Wolfgang and Helene invented a wealthy pre-war German Jewish art collection. According to their narrative, the collection had been dispersed during World War II and had remained hidden for decades. To support this fiction, they produced fake photographs, forged letters, gallery labels, exhibition records, and ownership documents. Helene even posed in vintage clothing for photographs designed to look decades old. The paintings were only part of the forgery. The history surrounding them was equally important. The sales in the early 1990s, one of Beltracchi's fake Campendonks entered the market. Experts examined it. They declared it genuine. The painting sold. Soon more followed. Over the next 15 years, Beltracchi's works passed through some of the world's most prestigious auction houses and private collections. Experts repeatedly authenticated them. Collectors paid hundreds of thousands and sometimes millions of euros. Some paintings appeared in academic publications and catalogs. Art historians studied them. Collectors displayed them proudly. Nobody knew they were looking at modern forgeries. At the height of the operation, individual paintings sold for up to 4 million euros. The Beltracchis lived comfortably in France and Germany, while carefully controlling the flow of new discoveries into the market. Everything seemed perfect. Then one small mistake changed everything. The one mistake in 2006, a painting called Red Picture with Horses attributed to Campendonk sold for 2.88 million euros. The buyer wanted additional testing. A laboratory examined the materials. The results were devastating. Scientists found titanium white pigment. The problem? Titanium white was not commercially available when the painting was supposedly created. The painting could not possibly be authentic. After decades of near-perfect discipline, Beltracchi had used the wrong tube of paint. One mistake, one pigment, and the entire operation began to unravel. Investigators re-examined the provenance documents and photographs. They found inconsistencies. The supposed historical photographs contained modern details. Paper and materials did not match their claimed dates. And the woman posing as a member of the old collector's family was actually Helene herself. The illusion collapsed. The arrest in August 2010, German police arrested Wolfgang and Helene Beltracchi, along with 2 accomplices. Investigators directly linked them to 14 forged paintings, though many experts believe the real number was far higher. The estimated value of the fraud exceeded $100 million. Authenticated, cataloged, valued at millions. No one knows exactly where they are. Many organizations have little incentive to investigate aggressively. Discovering a forgery could damage reputations and reduce the value of collections. After prison, Beltracchi continued painting, this time under his own name. Collectors bought his legitimate work for substantial sums. The convicted forger had become a successful artist. The bigger question: Beltracchi's victims were not amateurs. They were some of the most respected experts in the world. Yet they authenticated forged paintings again and again across multiple countries and decades. The story reveals a deeper truth about the art market. The value of a painting is not only in the paint and canvas, it is in the story attached to it. Beltracchi understood that better than anyone for nearly 40 years. While experts believed they were verifying history, he was quietly creating it. And they believed every word.